Welcome to Active Trader Setups Trading Setup Series, part of our Trading and Training Series Chart and Indicator Setups from Active Trader Setups Trading and Charting Package. This video is brought to you by Active Trader Setups Trading Package, a day trader setups company. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're here and go over to daytradersetups.com. You can find out more about our package under our features area, our registration area, as well as our education and training. We have a YouTube channel page that has links to various videos as well. And then you can go over to our members site. It's called tradermembers.com. Go to the products page, and we have a full listing of reference materials for our traders to access, but this page is open to the public. It goes over each of the charts and what they have on them, the indicators, the indications, how to scan for those, and so forth. I want to bring your attention to this yellow banner, Stock Chart Talk. We're going to start putting these videos out probably about once a week, just a way to teach how to study and learn on the charts. We used to do one called Weekend Chart Talk, and it was real popular. So we're bringing that back now that we've finished our package and we've got all the new charts out, and a lot of old clients learning and new clients as well. We tweeted out several tweets today on NSC, RCL. I'm going to do NSC first because it's pretty involved. This was the first setup that showed up on it. I'm going to show you that. Then we're going to talk about these reversal trades and a flag trade that later came back in. This was that first reversal you saw down below, and then this flag, how it broke out. We're going to talk about all that chart. A lot went on there, so that's a $3 move right there. And we're going to look at ALXN and a couple other charts. I know RCL this morning was a nice trade that we picked up off an inflection point. The ES as well was pretty interesting. The ES last night, let me see how far back here we are. Yeah, this cloud on the ES, this was at about 7 o'clock, went up, hit our line. This yellow dotted line represents that value, not the white line. That's the 58.75. It's like 58.25, but still that's pretty doggone close there too. It reversed right here, and that was the high. It never got back there again. So that was early in the session that gave a doggone good trade. And this was what was going on the smaller chart. That's that same 58 line you just saw. So we also had, this is a VPOC scanner here now on the ES. It's not on Affliction. So they like to trade the VPOC, so that's what we built these charts on. Did the same kind of scenario. But it rejected that area and gave us a nice sell-off. I actually tweeted this out as it got to this trend line right here. I had to hand draw this trend line. It wasn't automatically on the chart, but you could visually see what was coming. I tweeted it out when it was right about here, and it came on down. It just flushed right through here. But that made us set up for another trade this morning, right before the market opened. The ES. This is all this, that was last night, and then this was all through the night, chopping around, and this morning it ran up right before the bell at 9:30 regular trading hours right here, rejected right off that trend line for another great setup for an ES trade. And this was, we actually just did a micro on this when it rejected that line, got in, and stayed in this trade for a long time. Actually set my bar chart trader to take this trade on the reversal. We have it set for 2 bars back, got to close this bar and create another bar. So this is where it filled us at. I set this trade up and went to the bank and came back and was in the trade. That's how much I believed in that trend line probably going to fail. I had also tweeted out right after that, this was what led us to think so much about that trend line, which that's a natural trade setup to come into the bottom side of a trend line and reject it. What was support becomes resistance. And this was happening at the same time this morning. It was coming into the bottom of this cloud. Well, we've learned from our regular stock trading, when we come into the cloud lines, just like it bounced back here off of this line, and it held here, which is the white dotted line, has to do with our right side clouds. This line here is a VPOC line. So it was coming up into the previous session's VPOC, and the bottom of our cloud was all simultaneously happening with the bottom of that trend line chart we just looked at there. That was right here when this was occurring. So all those things contributed, and of course the cloud led to a much bigger sell-off all day, because it eventually curled over, did the twist, and just kept on selling off during the day. Now we had RCL was at an inflection point early. This was at this is like 9:35, so it did this quick jerking around, then it settled back in and went right back. When it got right here, 117.04 is this line. This is a daily inflection. Here's our daily input, so we're on a daily inflection point. These are carried forward, so this was yesterday's inflection point. This was the day before's, and it went up, and I think it printed 17 cents, it seems like. I said, okay, this is a setup. If it don't get over 117.40, I'm interested in this trade setup right here. And then it came on down and set up and gave a really, really nice trade. And these charts work like this on any stock you choose to watch. I don't know if I had anything else on RCL out here or not. We're going to look at the chart. This is the chart on the daily input again, and just want you to pay attention. And right here, it calculated a few cents difference, and the high was 14 cents, not 17, but it rejected. I took the smaller chart, was what I had tweeted out. I used the 10 tick bar. This is a 25, but I used it to enter that trade early up here rather than waiting on the reversal all the way down here. You can see here, this was my 10 wick bar, and that's why you had these multiple little bars here, as it kind of consolidated. These are only a nickel, remember. This is a 10 wick bar. These are nickel a piece. So this is where it did that little choppiness right in there, and that's where I got in the trade, 116.84. which I've talked about in some other videos. Taking one early, that's where you take it early at. You want to use this chart for your stop, though, not the other chart, and then let it trail this chart, not the little one. That way, when you get those little bitty movements back and forth on that small chart, it won't take you out. Now, if you'd have waited on this to trigger, it would have triggered you way down here short at 116, around 50 cents. It'd been about 30 cents later getting in. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you choose to trade it, that's fine. Everybody has to find what works for them. And you build your confidence in what you're trading off of. You also will enter earlier. By entering earlier, you got less risk involved because you got the same exact stop. You're just not way down here taking the trade. But anyway, that's where I got in. It pursued down here. It got to this cloud level, which is right here. Now, what's going on right here? At the time we get right here, this is your blue dotted line coming down. So it hadn't made the crossover yet, but it is falling. So it gets through the line, creates this bar, and then right here at the low of this bar, 116.27 is when this bar opened. Now this bar went back up before it went down. It went up to a high of 116.62. So from 27 to 62, that's 35 cents. Now I know a lot of you, oh, I'd be out. Yeah, you'd be out. You wouldn't make this other $2. This is the difference in trading and scalping. You could scalp this a little bit. That's what you want to do. That's fine. I'm willing to give back 35 cents so I can make this $2 trade. But I trust my chart. If you're trailing this one bar at a time, you generally will be okay, but you need to get out past the consolidation areas before you get your stop that tight, and then let it run. If it decides to make any kind of signal for reversal, then it would take you out, and that would be doing our current bar trail using our bar. You never see a single wick on any of these. That means the price never took out what we got classified as the open and the high. They got the same price there, and the stock probably never getting within 20 cents of those prices. But if you don't give it a little more room, which I like to do the 2-bar trail, because that's what it takes to reverse it and send it down, is it has to take out 2 more bars. When I first get in a trade, I want to use that 2-bar trail, which right here, that 2-bar trail is just right here. So it's still a tight stop to begin with, but then you got to let it maneuver and mature is what I call it. This is congestion area when you're coming through these clouds. And you can see when it got to this level right here, which is that yellow dotted line, it did a little consolidating. It also went out and touched the bottom of this cloud. This cloud is already here. This whole cloud is all the way out to right about here, because you see the blue dotted line falling right here. It's about 2 candles before it crossed over, so it's literally right here to the right. So all of this is already drawn. So you can see this went right to the bottom of the cloud, moved around, and then broke on down and made this next candle. And then after that, you had no wick. So once you cleared out the bottom, another thing you learn with the cloud is what this white line back here means. This little bounce right here was bounce 1, bounce 2, bounce 1, bounce 2. So this is the third bounce. 1, 2, that's this little spot. I may be getting off focus here. 1, 2, 3. It's 3 of them. This is 1, excuse me. This is 1. This is 2. This is the third one here. What's going on right here with the white line when it does this reversal? It's now cleared all these candles. It is through the candles, which I know it was through here as well. But now it's just got momentum. It's got room to go all the way down to the next cloud levels. It could actually get right here and flip back up, which would be where this flat spot was, which it did, remember, hold up right here, just not enough to make new candles. And then you got this nice breakdown. Once you cleared the cloud, it just, what happened? The force went red along in here and just accelerated on down for a really nice trade. Now, this 114.84, that's 2 days ago inflection point put on this chart. It's 2 days ago at the end of the day. Actually, if I tick this back one candle, it was yesterday's inflection point. So it actually bounced there. I exited into the line. I did not go down to the low and make on the reversal. If you will sell into an area, you will retain about 30% more of your profits that you had made versus letting a trail stop you out. But I want to be an area. If this right here makes a turn and goes back up, it's just going to trail stop me out. That's fine. It gave this little bounce here, which was about 50 or 60 cents, went back, retested that line, and then headed back up. Now, it's got resistance right here. This cloud's still open, so it's probably going to continue to have some resistance. I want to bring something to your attention here. This is ALXN. I just want to do a little review on it. We're going to get on NSC. if you're loading your symbols, this happens quite a bit on this particular chart, and things look out of whack, like your lines aren't loading. A lot of times after hours you think you're getting the lines not in the right places. If you look up here and this says ALXN and then it says RCL right here, when you typed in your symbol, it didn't load everything it was supposed to. It changed the candlesticks to ALXN. The cloud changed to ALXN because it's calculating off these candlesticks, but the inflection points will be calculating off a different symbol. So you have to, the way you fix that when that happens is just whatever symbol's shown right here, type it back on the chart again, let it reload, get equal symbols back as it's supposed to be, and then type in ALXN for the second time. I just spent about 15 minutes recording something about ALXN, and the lines were so out of whack, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I looked up there and saw that. So I'm basically starting over here. So I wanted to share that with you. I backed up here just a few days just to bring you forward on this chart to show you that action. This is how you can study, is going back through these and picking up what's happening now. Right here, see this blue line? That's what's creating tomorrow's white line on this chart. But I did want to show you this right here. When this broke up and got into the cloud, you can see that it has some consolidation here. It broke on up to this top edge of this cloud, and this is a pretty familiar. Sometimes you can get a little pullback here and then a break and a run. In this case, it consolidated here. The thicker the cloud, the more the consolidation. Got up to this falling edge. Sometimes it just rips. In this case, it pulled back a little bit, and then it turned and went up. Now, when it pulled back, this blue line is above this yellow line, which means that this represents this cloud. So you've already had your twist. It gave the bullish directional change out here. Can it just sell off? Absolutely. I actually watched one yesterday looking for a bounce, set up just like this. Never came. It just kept going. That's why I use a bar chart trader. It won't put me in a trade till it makes a reversal. But I wanted to share this setup with you because I trade this a lot. This little setup right here where you get this little pullback, and hey, if it pulls all the way back and hits a nice flat spot in the cloud right here, I like it even better. I'm going to continue on across. I want to share one other thing on this chart. As this right here is happening, and then this part, this is at around 11 o'clock. This is at 11:20. This is at 11 o'clock. This is at around 11:20. This is turned red to green and yellow bands to blue simultaneously. That's what this little indicator down here is. True and false, yellow, and then two blues. When you can get this consolidation and this trend shift, this goes back to version 1 over a year and a half ago. We developed these charts. This is indicating momentum about to come. Even this little chopping, you still got this blue line true. That means this lower band's falling away. There's still momentum to come. Try your best to stay in the trade or get back in the trade. If you don't like staying in it, and it has already it actually made 2 of those red bars. So as it consolidated right here, it made the red reversal bar. And remember, when this bar first started, it was at the low of this bar. It looked just like this bar. It was a big red bar. And then it turned and headed back up. So when you get those reversals at spots like this, you want to hesitate about getting in because you've got the cloud telling you it's going up. You're thinking you're going to hold here and break up, so don't get sucked into a short when you don't have a short setup. And then referring to this chart, these bands will make you even furthermore not want to go short there. You want to wait and take the long. You wait. You can take the bar chart trader, say I want a long trail. It'll throw you a green line on the chart and tell you where the trigger's at. You can trade it over on your broker. You can trade it through Ninja if you're using Ninja. And you got a breakout right here from 127.80. That's 132 up here. That's a $5 move by 345. Even if you stop out right here, you're talking about 127.80 to $1.80. So look at your tools. That's what they're there for, and let them give you the insight to see what you might be getting suckered in here. Look at some other information to make you like the long more than you like the short. You know, you move from chart to chart, and what you're looking for is a reason not to take a trade. Say, boy, this looks good. So you start poking around on your other indicators and your other charts, and if you don't find a reason not to take the trade, then it might be a good trade long. So now we're going to move ALXN into the next day, the 24th. You can see now this blue line was created during the day. It was creating our inflection for the next day. So right at the beginning of the day, these lines are on this chart. They're going to stay right here all day long. This is our inflection charting. I know a lot of guys see the charts on the Twitter, they see them in the videos, and they're like, oh, that line got drawn when that reversal took place. That's not the case. It's already there. Just like this was already there. It didn't do any reversals here. It just went right through it. So now this has been moved to here for tomorrow, for this new coming day. So at first it started calculating the next day's line here. It may move before the day's over, but that's where it is right now. Pull back, held the cloud. This is the level right out here. Gave a little bounce. You can see the yellow starting to go up. Just like that is. This is how you learn what these are doing. Went back to the high day basically there. And the blue line is not necessarily telling you the high day, but it's in that area, obviously, at the early in the morning. And now we're breaking down. We broke down through this flat spot in this cloud out here. We're coming down. We're coming into this cloud. Look at our white line back here. We talked about it on other videos. It's broke through these candles. Things are clearing out of the way. Now, the line would only be right here right now. This is because we got more candles to come to the right. Normally your line stops plotting right here. So that's where the line is at this time. It's gotten through these candles. And now we got the breakdown, gets to the bottom of the cloud, does a little reversal, a little chopping right here. It's about 60 cents going on there now. And then it just continues on down. So now we've sold off. And we reverse right off the line that was already there. And that's when this white line reverses here at the same time these candles do. So you don't see all this white line when you're trading. Now that line is 128.84. It's right over here. It's the first white box in the area. When I mouse right there, 128.84. What's the low of that candle? 128.81. So I took you $128 stock that just sold $3 and got you within 3 cents of the reversal spot. If you're not getting curious about our charting system watching these videos, I don't know what else I can show you. But that's what this is all about. Our clouds give you some guidance. These inflection points are my holy grail. Now we got a bounce going here. We hit our cloud level, which is out here. That's what that yellow line. We got this little jumping around here. It only pulled back to the blue, which was this right here at the time. Got back up to the cloud again. Does not break out. And now look, when this pullback, this is not just a slight little pullback like we had here. This has got a little more something going on because now it's red down here on our force indicator. Can it bounce right here? Absolutely. Because it could have just been forceful right here. but it don't. It heads on down, keeps the strength in it, gets a right there, picks up a 10-bar high volume. That was a 5-bar high volume on this reversal candle. Then you got a 10-bar high volume right here 4 candles later. Now it's got another 5-bar high volume right here. Back into our line again. That's a consolidation area. Even though it got through it, it's chopping around. It's defending this spot here because this was our inflection point. It was our most recently plotted daily inflection point because it's the dashed line. It was put on there yesterday at the end of the day. Bears won. Now you can get in this choppiness and you can set 2 different ways to trade this. If you put our long trail on, it's probably going to take you long right here. If you put our long stable order on, a stable requires the prior bar not have a wick out of it. So it would make this bar close and then the next bar open, which this did because it was a green bar just like this one when it opened. So it would have still taken you long, I do believe, because it got about a 6-cent tolerance in it. That was a high of 29.10, 29.14. May not have. It'd have been close. It rolls back over and gives another, not assertively this time, but it sells on off. And what's your cloud doing over here? When you're bouncing here, you got a cloud that's got a flat spot in it, but you didn't go visit the flat spot, and you're hitting the blue line of the cloud. That's what that dotted line is. It can serve as a resistance area too. So you're in a downtrend, and it just continues down. Once this thing starts falling again, that's this line right out here. You got a huge downturn again. Gave a nice bounce, assertive bounce. This is the auto trade would actually, if you had an instant loaded in here, it's red and then it's green within the next bar. If it can give that assertive reversal, and there's you a 5-bar high volume to boot, you got this quick reversal for a nice turn. Excuse me, that was the end of the day. This is the next morning. So you did get the assertive reversal, but it's the end of the day, last 20 minutes. That's as far as it went. This is the next morning. This is the 25th. Early gap. This is 9:30. That's 9:30. Runs into the line. This line has been there 2 days. 2 days. That's the day before. That's 2 days ago. The solid one would be 3 days ago. So it gaps up because this is all still 9:30. Okay, 9:30, 11 seconds. Our line is at 128.84. That was the same line we had yesterday, remember? Because it carries forward. What's the high? 83. 1 cent off of there, it pulled back. Look what's happening right here, though. The blue has crossed the yellow, so we're not seeing everything out to our right. That's where you're at right here. The blue has crossed the yellow. That's exactly what's happened right here. So makes us wonder, but we can still get a pullback to here, bounce and go again. I don't want to get short here because once that happened, that don't mean this can't curl back over, but I would be, especially early, you probably wouldn't want to get short anyway at 9:30 because your spread's probably 75 cents. Look at there. Pulled back, didn't go all the way to the line, but it pulled back and gave a turn. It's still at 9:30. This all happened in 2 seconds. That shows you got a big spread. It reverses again. Now it's down to that line. Now we're 2 minutes in, and it fails. You don't want to trade early anyway. I love to wait at least 15 or 20 minutes because it's easy just to wait and find a setup after things have kind of settled and created what it wants to do. Now, this is lunchtime. So it's worked its way around these clouds here. These are not thick clouds. Been a lot of choppiness. Gave a big run up here into this line. Failed it. Went right back to that same line from the day before. 128.84. Reversed off of that. Now, we got a positive cloud. We're pulling back into the cloud. This is a pretty high probability bounce spot. That don't mean it has to, and we got a thin cloud, which means it's not a lot of resistance here. Continues right on through it. It does give some consolidation down here. Once you break the cloud, going back into it, it's probably all you're going to get. And look right here. The blue line has now crossed the yellow line out here. So when this little bounce is taking place, you've already got this negative cloud over here. And that pretty much done it in for the rest of the day. It gave another big sell-off there. Now, that white dotted line just got placed there at the end of the day for tomorrow. Our blue line was what we created all day today, and that's our line for tomorrow. Sometimes that won't show up to the next morning. A lot of times at the end of the day, though, that last little tick will put that on the chart. Okay, we're 30 minutes into this video. Remember one thing, I don't make these every single day. And you can pause, remember where you stopped at on the minutes on the video, and watch the rest tomorrow. You don't have to watch all these in one day. You can come back later on tonight and watch the rest. I want to get this NSC in there because there's a lot of things took place on this chart. It's a lot of good learning here. This was early this morning on the 25th. This is 9:31, so it goes down pretty quick. This is a 3-day ago line. 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. It's carrying forward. The next day it's going to be orange. There's your bounce. Instantly reverses off of that. That's it. 9:35. You already got a big negative cloud, been there for 2 days. Reverses right off of that early. And boy, what a sell-off. To trade early, I like to be on one of these 3 white lines. I like to zone in on that. That's what I want to alert. And when you go to the alert section doing the scanning, each one has its own alert. It is described as white dash line, white dash dot line, white solid line. And then it goes plot 4, plot 5, plot 6, all the way to number 9. So you can choose which one. So you can create 2 copies of the scanner. One is your early morning, and it's only set to give you alerts on the 3 lines, and then you can have the others later on in the day. You can go in and set the other one to do the other alerts, not the first 3 lines, and then 10 o'clock, 10:30, load you some more symbols in the other scanner. You can have it running twice. All you have to do is duplicate it. That's covered in the video, and then you have to select the enable the alerts. Now, monster sell-off there. I'm going to try to do this pretty quick. Right here, I had about 25 stocks loaded in an instant trade. And the instant trade has to either flip from red, right here, shown in the box, it's a 0, to green right here, or green on the doji bar. Either one of those, and you could do either or you can set both. I had 20-something stocks set in the instant trade, long and short, for the whole day today. I had one trigger, and it was this stock right here. It's real hard to get this to go from red to green or green to red instantly. Like you can see, this turn, this was a pretty good sell-off, but when it turned, it didn't go instantly to red. They don't do instantly very often. This took about 3 bars. We've got this built where you can say, I want it here, which is real rare. Here's the most common, and this is the second most common. So on an assertive reversal, you got these 3 choices that you can set the instant trade on. You don't want to load it up with a lot of symbols. You want to fully understand it. But that's the one auto trading ability I put into this entire system without upgrading to the auto trade package. The other auto trade is to have the doji with a 10 bar high volume. So either one of them would have put you in a trade. If you have both of them loaded up, you're going to get a lot more stocks triggering on just the volume requirement. You also going to get some that don't go very far. So I like to do the one that's the assertive reversal and gets the force with it. Now, this didn't run very far. I tweeted this out, actually. It ran up about 40 cents. I didn't have time to tweet this when I was trying to trade. I did tweet the picture out, rejecting the line, showing the line right there, how that trade worked out later. And then this was the instant reversal. We tweeted that out right after it happened and was in the trade for 37 cents. And that automatically put me in that trade with this stop and with that exit order attached to that alert and a buy market order. Now, it didn't go much further up here. I tightened up my stop from way down here. I want to stop to go in when I do auto trade order. I can't have my bar chart trader attached to that. So it puts me in the trade, lets me know I'm there. I go get it on a chart, and then if I want to cancel this, I can and switch it over to a trail stop on a bar chart trader. You know, a lot of strategies, they can't assume a position. Our bar chart trader can. So I'm able to cancel this stop, cancel that target order, click my bar chart trader, it'll send back out whatever button I tell it to start. Use the one bar trail, current bar trail. It'll put a target order back out there. I can just switch it midstream and then acquire it and start using our chart trader to manage this trade. First thing you can do in a situation like this is grab this stop and adjust it, and then go over and get on your chart or your bar chart trader and start deciding what you want to do. Now, we tweeted this, and then I put in there that it was with the forced reversal with the volume. And that's when I retweeted it. And what I retweeted was worth watching for a bullish flag pattern for a possible reentry. It was already starting to pull back when I retweeted this right here. I went back later and said no flag needed, needs to reset up, no longer watching for the flag. And then later it gave the killer run. And I'm going to show you, this was the first place I said watch for a flag. It was down here. And when I said no longer watching for a flag, it had already taken out that low. So I said let it reset. So I didn't want anybody to jump in something when I wasn't really saying that it was doing what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to do 2 bars to head back up right here, but it didn't. This was it wasn't a quick little bullish bull flag. It continued some more sell-off. So I put a hold on it and I watched it some more. Now, here's what happened. When it got right here, that was all those tweets I was just showing you. Does some more sell-off. When I said I'm not watching the flag, let it reset. Comes down here, I want to get a read on it again. So after it does this little move right here, it's selling, but it's not back to red. It didn't get to red here on this big sell-off. I'm like, I believe this thing is going to flip. I want to look at it for going long. And I went ahead and set my trail, long trail. So as this sold off, it's keeping me 2 bars back, right above, about 6 cents above the high of that bar. And when it turned right here, that created my long right here. Now, if you didn't want to do that, you could wait till it reversed. And you see it gave you a few minutes because it put a wick in this bar. If it just continued up, you would not have a wick. So it hesitated here. You could trigger your alert with that order and have it in a sim account. It'll say order filled. You look over, say, okay, it's setting up, but hey, it's chopping around. I'm going to watch it another minute. You can keep watching it and wait and take it on the next bar. You put long trail on it after it comes down here, it'll put you an order up here. If you don't like that, you can switch it over to stable. It'll wait 13 more cents. The stable waits on a bar with no wick to close, so it has to create this bar first. So you got a lot of choices of what you can do if you don't want to jump right in. I took it on the quick, sat through the pullback. It ended up with a big volume bar there. Now part of that volume accumulated because of all this choppiness. And then this thing broke. And it ran $3. Now, I didn't stay in all the way to here. I got out right along in here. I wanted to protect, so I was watching it. I had my trail on it. I had it on a 2-bar trail, so I'm staying 2 bars behind it all the time. I'm waiting on the reversal bar to stop me out. But I actually sold it into this area right here because of this flat spot in the cloud. I said, it's going to be due a pullback. I'm going to just go ahead and scale out, and I did. I got out, and it started doing this. It went up a little more without me. That's fine, and I never got back in it. So that's 3 good ways to set up. Setups, trying to teach here. This is what this is all about. A lot of places want you to pay them, then come in and let me teach you for months, and they charge you a huge fee. I'm giving you the education right here for free. You watch the videos, decide if you think you want to modify your trading. Study our videos. We got 17 out just on the charts. We're putting these out about 3 times a week. You study until you learn enough to know you want to try this. Then you come over and sign up. And that's easier on me. You've got all the basic history. So you don't need anybody to hold your hand when you come in. You've already been studying. And if you're not willing to study, you're probably not going to sign up. But thanks for watching our videos anyway. Have a good evening. Again, this is the Trading and Training series where we look at our chart and indicator setups, active trader setups, trading package at Day Trader Setups Company, home of the ATS Bar Chart Trader, ATS Inflection Points. We also have futures, VPOC scanners, and VPOC charts. Thanks for watching our video. Plan to watch these videos on a regular basis and subscribe to our channel while you're here, and you'll be notified every time we put out a new video. Thanks again.